Because there we are. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 o'clock. Time for us to begin our meeting. Good to see everyone this evening, and it even feels a little funny saying this evening. It feels like early afternoon, but we'll take it. By order of the city attorney, we'll take it. Happy to have Pastor Mitch Brown to give us the invocation this evening. Mitch, if you'll come, please. Greetings, sir.
Trust that has been placed in their hands by the citizens of this community, Richmond, Kentucky. And Lord, we thank you, Father, for your leadership, and we pray that you will continue to lead them and guide them in all that they do. We pray from the least to the greatest of all the citizens in this community, in this county, in our state, and in our nation, Lord. And we pray that your hand will certainly be leading and guiding all those in our Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, sir. We are honored to have a local U.S. Armed Forces veteran with us to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Colonel Judy A. Greenbaker, United States Army, retired, is a graduate of Madison Central High School, University of Kentucky, and Eastern Kentucky University. She was licensed as a registered nurse in May of 1975 and joined the Kentucky Army National Guard in January 1986 as a second lieutenant. Shortly thereafter, she began working full-time for the Kentucky Army National Guard. Colonel Greenbaker was the chair of the Military Science Department at EKU and the ROTC Battalion Commander 1998-1999. She retired in 2013 from the United States Reserves after completing almost 28 years of service. After retirement, Colonel Greenbaker has volunteered countless hours to serving others in her community. Thank you, Judy, for leading us this evening in our Pledge of Allegiance, and welcome.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Colonel. Some of those countless hours that I just mentioned of service to this community can be seen in many ways, but I think most visibly with the Maple Grove Cemetery there on East Main, doing a tremendous job in not only bringing it up to an acceptable condition, but also maintaining that. And for that, Judy, we are all grateful. Thank you so much. We'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goebel.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. Just before we move forward, if there's someone who has not gotten a copy of the agenda and you would like one, they're in the little pocket right there at the front by the gate. For our presentations this evening, we have a new business recognition. Ask Carrie Hensley to come forward, please, and present our new business.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
We have a new business we want to recognize this evening. It's going to be exciting for kids and adults alike. It's called Bricks and Minifigs, and I want to invite MJ and Bryce Foster to come up and give us some information about their new venture.
Thank you so much, Carrie.
one is not, so. I'm MJ, this is Bryce, and this is Briley, and this is Maddie. So, this will be the operational owner of Bricks and Minifigs in Richmond.
So we'll be opening a store in 2115 Lantern Ridge, the Richmond Center, right in front of the movie theater.
Yes.
Hours will be Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays 11 to 5. So, yeah. So we'll be doing everything Lego, everything used, new, bulk, anything that Lego really doesn't do. So they only sell new stuff. We'll sell used sets, people come, retired sets, after party stuff, stuff like that. So anything you think of Lego, we'll have it, minifigs. And then we'll have a party room.
So, we have a nice party room. We've got counter space for people to bring in food, cakes. We have a refrigerator, so if mom goes through and she's like, I cannot fit this cake in my refrigerator, bring it on in, we got you. So, our goal is to try to make it as accommodating as possible for those parents, because parties are chaos.
Yeah.
So, but, everybody loves Lego, it's for adults, for children. We want to actually do more with our party room, so we are hopeful. We've spoken with several homeschool groups, so to get those children in there to socialize and just be able to, build something small, or, let their creativity go wild, because Lego is such an opportunity for kids that has, maybe some cognitive or even, occupational needs. So there's a lot of opportunity for Lego to be able to be an asset
Yes.
to children. And so we'll have a party room. We hope to do community events and workshops. We've got one workshop. Our grand opening is on April the 18th. So the 19th, we actually have somebody that's right outside of Louisville. There's a book that he has, and you can build all things out of the book. A whole house. So you can build a refrigerator, you can build a table, you can build chairs, anything you can imagine. He's gonna hold 3 workshops that day, so it's really exciting. One thing in that picture with the clouds, we will have actually one of the rarest Lego sets that there is. We do have a Cloud City that we will have. So Cloud City can go for about $15,000 or more. So we were lucky enough to get our hands on that.
Yes, yes.
So
Welcome.
I think we've pretty much, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We're excited. Anybody have
Yeah.
any questions, just reach out to us. All right, girls.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, photo.
You know, Jim.
What I-
You know the drill.
Goodness. Thank you,
so
Kelly.
much.
And thank you all, and welcome. Yes,
Thank you so
indeed.
much. We appreciate it.
You do well.
Thanks, Gary.
Righty. The next presentation from Hope's Wings. I hate to see her come, because it means I'm going to jail.
Not
Jennifer,
true,
welcome.
not true. You like our jail.
Yes, I do.
Let's be
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
We
that's
feed you
right.
well every year.
Yes, indeed.
So, I'm coming here at least twice a year, right? It's going to be jail and bail and Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
Lucky for you, it's jail and bail, or lucky for me, maybe. So our jail and bail will be this coming Friday, and as all of you know, because you've participated in a number of years now, especially this one and the mayor and Mike, bless your hearts, you all been here for a long, long time, and you two are starting to become pros too. But you're going to be arrested every
Tweak
year.
that.
You know that jail and bail is important to our shelter because we're not a state-funded shelter, meaning we're not part of the coalition. So any funding that comes into the emergency shelter of ours from the Cabinet of Health and Family Services. So the other grants that we share with the city, like our increasing the criminal justice response grant, those are for specific programs. They don't cover our emergency shelter. So when things like budget cuts happen, like they've happened in Washington recently, and like we're afraid they're happening at the state right now, those budget cuts affect us greatly. So jail and bail is always important, and so we always appreciate your participation. Now, it's this Friday, so raise your bail, come and pay your bond, and I won't have to have Rodney and his folks come get you, okay? If you do not show up between 8 and 4, you just might expect a visit from him, okay? Don't make that happen. Come down, make your pledges, do your online stuff. I think we've got everybody set up on Facebook at this point, except for Tammy. Tammy, if you want help, I'll do it. If not,
Of all the people not to be on
I know,
Facebook about this.
I know. So I'm happy to take over your Facebook pages temporarily to help you raise your money, and
I may need help.
we can do it. We can do it. But we'll be at Central Bank between 8 and 4. We will have breakfast and lunch, so whatever time you decide to show up, we'll have you fed and coffee and all of the good stuff. So please come if you all don't want to see your elected officials in jail, or if you do and you want me to keep them
Yeah.
longer, we can turn this around.
Now, you remember there have been those who have said, we'll pay you to keep him for a while.
Yeah, and I will. I will take $1 from anybody. And I'll definitely take 5. So if you want to keep them in, I'll take your money for that as well. If you want to get them out, I'm sure they'll appreciate, and their families will be happy to have them at home. But we appreciate always the support that the city gives us, because we would not be in this community if it were not for the community members and for our local governments, Berea, Richmond, and the county. So we do appreciate everything that you all do for us. So do you have any questions before the day?
Thank you for your many years of faithful service, Jennifer.
I
How many lives, how many families have been made better by what you do?
Thank you. We hope so. That's our goal. That's our goal in the community, and it's been a blessed 17 years. So I'm happy to be there, and I'll stay there until I'm not. But just the same as you guys, right? You'll stay here until you're not. But I do appreciate you. And so anything that you need from me between now and then, let me know. If you want picked up,
Yeah. She runs a tight ship in that jail.
Yes.
I put her right up there with Tijuana.
ridiculous. He plays the part. He comes in costume,
Yeah,
for sure.
he's
Or
had
we
some
hope it's a
experience.
costume. That's what he said in lots of countries. So, but I thank you all, and I appreciate you, and I will see all of you on Friday. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Bye. All right, in our packets, we have 3 meetings minutes. Had a chance to look at those. Maybe we have a motion, please. We can take them all 3 at once. If you're ready to do that, maybe have a motion, please.
I
So
move.
moved.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Cole and Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion, any questions, comments, additions to any of those? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 26-12, ordinance of the City of Richmond amending the annual budget for the City of Richmond for the fiscal year 2026, estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operations of city government. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please, assisted by Finance Director.
Mayor, I'm going to ask that our Finance Director, Sharon Kane, read the ordinance, and then we'll open the floor for any questions.
Alrighty.
Whereas a budget proposal has been prepared and delivered to the City Commission, and whereas the City Commission has reviewed the budget proposal and necessary modifications have been completed as recommended, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2025, and ending June the 30th, 2026, is hereby presented as follows. In our general fund, our total resources for appropriation is $73,332,004. Our appropriations are $54,060,893, leaving an estimated ending balance of $19,271,111. In our municipal aid fund, our total resources for appropriations is $813,912. Appropriations are $805,700, leaving an ending balance of $8,212. In the capital projects fund, our total resources for appropriations is $13,864,884. Our appropriations are $11,108,733,000. And our ending balance is $2,756,151. In our Whitehall Historical Site, our total resources for appropriation is $264,925, with appropriations of $264,925, with an ending balance of $0. And in our Men's Rehab Center, our total appropriations resources available is $1,099,000, and our appropriations are $1,099,000, leaving an estimated balance as of 6/30/26 of $0. The amended 2020 fiscal year budget is hereby approved as submitted. The amounts budgeted above are hereby appropriated to the accounts indicated for the 2026 fiscal year budget. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish a copy of the amended fiscal year 2026 budget ordinance in accordance with KRS 424.240. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Sharon. This is the first reading of this ordinance. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion? Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Goble.
Mayor, if I may,
Please, sir.
I'd like to point out the high-ticket items on this budget amendment. Really, the biggest one is our portion of the 911 fee. You see there's $2,207,000. You all are all aware of the daycare emergency renovations we had to take on and got those quickly, and I thank you for your approval for those expenditures. The transfer to the MAP state money, that's our money we get from the gas tax for road projects, salt. We didn't get as much as expected, and obviously with the winter we had, we used a lot more salt than we expected, so that $162,000 is a one-time infusion into that account to balance it. The other items that are big-ticket items, salaries and overtime in the police department. And understand when we have a special event or even a winter weather incident like we had, it's usually all hands on deck. So we've had a lot of that, as you know. And then to answer a question I received earlier about, let's see which item it was here. It had to do with the winter weather. Federal emergency declaration overtime payroll for January ice storm with extended sub-zero temperatures. That was $13,261, and that is not reimbursable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you it was, but it's not.
Okay.
And we'll answer any further questions you all have.
Thank you, sir.
And just to make sure, in terms of clarification, for the men's rehab program, that obviously is a federal grant that we have. But I think you said we had to do a new appraisal, and which increased, we had to put in an additional $70,000 from general fund money.
Yeah, that's correct. So when we did the appraisal, this project started a couple years ago. We did an appraisal at that time. When we actually sent the purchase agreement to the ED in Atlanta, they required a 60-day, within 60-day appraisal. So we had a new appraisal done, and the price obviously changed. So that's what that $70,000 is for the purchase of the building.
No, wait just a minute now, but we're not doing, second appraisal now, right?
We had to do a second appraisal because the initial appraisal we had when our first application was 2 years ago. When we submitted the purchase agreement to them for approval, they required that an appraisal be within 60 days of the purchase agreement submission. So we had to do a second appraisal 2 years later to get an updated appraisal to send to the feds in Atlanta.
And we've only done 2 appraisals.
That's correct, yep. Yep. And that is an 80-20 match, so we'll get 80% of our expenditures back. And then we have a partnership with the county for anything over the $4.97 million grant. We'll share equally in cost and pay for the difference out of our opioid abatement money. And we're in a holding pattern with the federal government for them to approve the new schedule, amended budget, and purchase agreement. And the closures of the federal government, the closures at the federal level have caused delays in this project, probably at least 90 days.
Thank you, sir. Any further question, comment, discussion? This is a first reading. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Ordinance 26-08, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, annexing property into the city boundaries and assigning zone classification for 1055 Berea Road. This is a second reading. Mr. Attorney, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas IBS US LLC, the owner of the property described below, has consented and requested to the voluntary annexation into city limits of said tract hereinafter the property, and whereas the property in question is contiguous to the city's boundaries, is urban in character, and is suitable for further development for urban purposes, and whereas the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission on February 18th, 2026, conducted a public hearing so as to be able to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners as to the appropriate zoning classification to be assigned to the property should it be so annexed. And whereas at the conclusion of the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to adopt the findings of fact attached to this ordinance, here incorporated in full, and to recommend that the property, if annexed, be assigned a zoning classification of a total of .6135 acres as B3 highway business. And whereas the Board of Commissioners finds that it would be in the public interest that the property in question be annexed into the city's boundaries and given a B3 zoning classification, now therefore be it ordained as follows. Section 1, in accordance with the provision of Chapter 81A of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, the City of Richmond, Kentucky does hereby express its intention to annex into the city limits those certain tracts of property more particularly described as follows, to wit, IBS US LLC, 1055 Berea Road, Richmond, Kentucky, deed book 846 at page 650. I am not going to do the meets and bounds description. That's just a bunch of gibberish. You all can read it. We have it on file should any of y'all want to read it. Being all the same, land conveyed by William C. Erickson and Sarah Erickson to IBS US LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, on December 8th, 2023, by deed recorded in deed book 846, page 650, in the office of the Madison County Clerk. Section 2, the property is hereby annexed into city boundaries in accordance with the findings of fact and recommendation of the Richmond Planning and Zoning Commission, which findings of fact the board does adopt as its findings. The property shall be and is hereby zoned total of .6135 acres as B3 highway business, and the Department of Planning and Zoning and the GIS Department shall make the appropriate changes to the city's official map and the city clerk shall forward this ordinance together with other necessary information and documentation to the appropriate local and state authorities. Section 3, this ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its adoption, following second reading and publication in accordance with the provisions of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's the second reading of ordinance 26-08. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion, anything, Mr. City Manager, that you want to add at this point? Any question, comment? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 26-09, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the city's development ordinance regarding regulations of short-term rentals. This, too, is a second reading. Mr. Attorney, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the city adopted ordinances 24-02, 25-02, and 25-06 relating to regulations on short-term rentals, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Board has made recommended amendments to the existing short-term rental ordinance to include allowed zones and locations permitted in the PUD zone, and now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners for the City of Richmond, Kentucky that Section 1, short-term rentals, and this is to harmonize this throughout all zones, including the PUD. Short-term rentals are permitted in the R1A, R1B, and R1C zones. They require a conditional use permit in B2 zones. In addition, there shall be allowed with the PUD zone those areas indicated by underlying use as R1A, R1B, and R1C upon review and approval by the director. The minimum distance from one short-term rental to another, as measured from the center of an existing structure utilized as a short-term rental to the center of the next structure, shall be no less than 500 feet. Section 2, the ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners, following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of Kentucky applicable law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 26-09. This is a second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
Yeah. Mr. City Manager, can you briefly elaborate on while we're amending before the second reading?
So in the initial ordinance, In the initial ordinance, we excluded planned unit developments, which are called PUDs. An example of that would be Golden Leaf off Duncannon and soon to be the farms at Barnes Mill. So in the original ordinance, PUDs weren't included to allow for short-term rentals. So everywhere else in the city, you can have a short-term rental in an R1, A, B, or C. Conditional use, and I think it's B2. So this is just kind of housekeeping to include PUDs, short-term rentals in those PUDs, in those R1, A, B, and C zoning classifications. Did that come out right?
Yeah, it did. And the reason this is being brought up, Commissioner, is we were contacted by a local property owner and wanted to get set up for a short-term rental. We're like, "Oh, that's great. You know, what's the underlying use?" And it was I think it was R1, A or B, one of the two. And, oh, yeah, everything's good until we looked a little closer and like, oh, wait a second, this is in a PUD. And you've done everything you should. It looks like you're able to operate, but for you being in this PUD, you're not allowed to. And from an equity standpoint, myself and Mr. Causey and the city manager had a conversation that, you know, we want to try to treat like as best we can with this. And in this situation, but for that property being in the PUD, they'd be able to operate as a short-term rental. So this is part of a larger project, and don't get the pitchforks and torches out after me yet. There's going to be a pretty large revamping of the building ordinance just to make, or the development ordinance just to make sure everything tracks. This is sort of the first bite of the elephant with this, but it's just to have it harmonized where it reads the PUD underlying uses and the underlying uses elsewhere line up.
And I wasn't aware that we were contacted by an actual property owner in a planned unit development. I thought this was just an oversight from planning and zoning, and it was a catch, and we're coming back and doing some housekeeping. So I wasn't aware we were actually contacted by a property owner, but it's kind of discriminating against a PUD if you're allowing for short-term rentals in R1s, A, B, and C, and not allowing it in a PUD, is the way we look at it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. When you say PUD, I mean, so somebody can bring property into the city, and it doesn't have to be a PUD development, right? So it's covered by R1A, B, and C. How many, it's kind of hard to say that out, how many places want a development like that with short-term rental? I mean, how many can we have? Is there a limit?
The only limit that I see in the ordinance is you can't have one within 500 feet of the center of an existing one, is the way the ordinance reads. So if I've got a short-term rental, center point from that short-term rental, you can't have one within 500 feet. So to answer your question, that's about the only, other than being in an R1, A, B, or C. It has to be in an R1, A, B, or C.
So there is an aspect of this, not necessarily a race to the courthouse, it's gonna be a race to City Hall. That if somebody's wanting to have a short-term rental in a PUD, which is generally mixed-use development,
Yeah.
things such as that.
What does it do with, when we talk about our hotels and things here, because there's no transient tax with R1 or with short-term rentals, right?
Well, no, there is a transient tax with short-term rentals.
Collecting the tax is another issue.
Yeah, that's
And that's really left up to the state. I mean, they
It's
haven't
before
come
the
together on
legislature
theirs.
now, isn't it? That-
Yeah,
Yeah, there.
we got a
yeah.
couple questions, you wanna, okay.
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So yes, so what is currently before the legislature, based upon my conversations with former co-workers at the league, is that essentially cities are being forced to the table on this.
Cities are what, I'm
Being
sorry?
forced to the table to negotiate something with Airbnb. Airbnb is the issue. Vrbo has been pretty good
Yeah, they pay.
about
But
collecting
some
transit-
aren't, right?
Well, the issue was Airbnb, I think initially in years past, dating back to my time with the league, they did for a while. They were okay about that. For whatever reason, and I'm assuming that reason is it wasn't for their economic bottom line, they figured that it's not worth us for us to collect it, so they pushed that onto the people who actually operate the Airbnb. So if I operated an Airbnb, I would be tasked with collecting and remitting the transit room tax to the city of Richmond for the
So have we
property.
collected any transient tax from the Airbnbs?
Yes,
Yes, we have.
Have
We've
we
got
collected
several
from
very,
every one of them?
do what?
Have we collected from every one of them?
No, we've
No.
got some very good operators in our community, and we have others that claim they don't have people staying at their short-term rentals, but then we have a great investigative crew at tourism that finds on Facebook where they're getting reviews during that same time period that, when they're supposed to be reporting. So we have a monthly working group in place that
Right.
includes building codes, fire marshal, planning and zoning, city attorney, myself, and finance. And we're making headway with the ones that aren't participating in paying their transient taxes. And actually, they're required to renew their license annually. And what we've done with this annual license renewal that just came up is sent letters to the operators that haven't paid transient tax and told them, you have to get current with your taxes, or your property won't be inspected and you won't be issued a license for short-term rental. So we're getting to where we need to be to enforce it. But as you know, you're seeing these pop up everywhere. I mean, every monthly meeting, tourism comes with a whole list of new Airbnb, short-term rentals, Vrbo operators. So,
There's really no way to stop that if what you're telling me is,
well, no, and the legislation in Frankfurt, if it gets passed, it's gonna be the wild, wild west, because basically they're taking the enforcement away from local governments and
Yes.
telling local governments, you don't have any authority to enforce short-term rentals, so they can go anywhere they want and not even pay transient.
I still think transient taxes are gonna be a piece of this, Commissioner, but the problem we are going to run into, and I'm sure at some point there may be one of those resolutions from KLC asking us to pass. Essentially, the city is I'll say it, city's being kneecapped on this because it's going to be state-level preemption. Preemption being the state saying, this sandbox is not a sandbox the city can any longer play in. And they're going to set it up as a comprehensive legislative scheme, and we all love 82.082 for home rule, that if the state doesn't do it, we can step in and do that. They're going to preempt us in that area, and this is going to be the first, probably many areas in the upcoming years, where cities are going to be preempted, or there's going to be an attempt to preempt cities, whereas in the past, we were able to act without Frankfort's intervention. So this is part of that ongoing conversation. But to revisit your initial question on the collection of transient room taxes, we're spending probably, I would say, no less than 50 hours a month.
Absolutely.
In personnel between the group meetings. Had another meeting earlier this week with building codes and finance, Sharon, those folks about this. So this is something that's very much on the front burner with us. And we have, as a group, and with your all's direction on this, made the determination that the time for kind of playing nice is over. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. We're sick of being shamed. So the tack we're going to be taking from now on is that we're going to give you a chance to get right. But if you don't, we're going to be using those levers, limited that they may be, probably through July 1, if not sooner, if the legislation is passed as an emergency.
Well, I think-
We're going to use the tools we have.
I think it's important to understand too, you've got a lot of very good hotel operators in our community.
And some
You've
good
got-
short-term rentals.
That's right, and the short-term rentals are that are playing by the rules. So when they see these other operators not complying, you can go to a monthly tourism meeting, and I promise you, it's gonna be a topic of conversation from some of the board members that are hotel operators and some of the board members that are short-term rental operators. So they're doing what they're supposed to and others aren't. So that's why we've gotta draw a line in the sand here.
So when you say drawing the line in the sand, what is the option we have to control this if really the state is pointing the finger back at us?
Well, the legislation will have to get passed in Frankfurt before we can determine how we move forward.
We just don't, we
We're
just have
kind of
to
in a holding pattern. We're moving forward with our regulatory piece. And if the state doesn't pass that legislation, then we're in place to enforce it.
But even if they do, Commissioner, I want to be very clear on this. Even if we are just left with a tiny little nubbin of authority for enforcement, I'm going to push that as far as I can.
Yeah.
And I can't fathom that Frankfurt is going to be in a position to say, yeah, we're going to allow bad actors to continue or negligent actors to continue. There's still going to be some level of enforcement that's going to need to be used. I mean, we've got that great carrot of, issuing these short-term rentals. We need to stick to swing if it comes to it. And so we will, no matter what Frankfurt decides in their eminent wisdom as far as how this needs to be going forward, we will be prepared to respond to it as far as bad actors who aren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Is there any place in the city of Richmond that does not allow short-term rentals?
Yeah, all your B zones, industrial zones.
I'm sorry, I should have phrased that, not business, or, I know you leave business but could they do a conditional use permit and have?
For a B2 zone, I think it is the only place they can request a conditional use, and the rest of it has to be R1, A, B, or C.
So industrial and those things, it does not apply?
R2, R3, B1, B3, and then industrial zoning.
Yeah. RT3, yeah.
I think that's it.
And it just seems like all the cities are hung out there to dry on this, and
It's a struggle for all cities right now. I can tell you at the city managers conference, it was a topic of discussion. Nobody wants the state legislation to pass to where it just opens it up for all short-term rentals to do what they want. And they're in the same boat we are in trying to set guidelines and regulating it. The problem is you have people opening these without a license, without an inspection. They're collecting rent on short-term rentals, and they're not doing what they're supposed to locally to pay their transient taxes, get an inspection, make sure they're safe, have the proper parking. I mean, that's another.
I might
piece
have
of it.
asked this, and I apologize if I did, and I just didn't hear. So what happens if they do this, as you said, open up and doing all these things without inspections, and they're running a business out of it? what's our alternative here at the city of Richmond?
Shut them
for any-
down.
Huh?
Shut them down.
And have we done that? Because we've had them
Well,
up.
we just did. So it's time for annual renewals. And the letters that we went out from our stellar attorney here basically told them, with sharp teeth, by the way.
You're a kind liar. I appreciate that.
But it basically told them, look, you're not following the guidelines of paying transient tax like you're supposed to and everybody else is. So we will not renew your license without you getting current with transient tax. So they're required to have an inspection. We won't schedule the inspection or renew their license until they get current with paying their
Now,
transient.
Rob, let me interrupt you here now. Seriously. So what's the teeth? I mean, you can tell them that, but what do we, seriously, do we put a padlock on their doors? Do we, as, I think.
I get what you're saying.
And I will
I don't
regret,
know how
Lisa,
far you
saying
go.
Doesn't seem
this.
like we have any,
I'm gonna regret saying this, Madam Clerk. I'm gonna regret it.
Don't go to jail.
But as rumor has it, can we tell them we'll shut your water off?
No.
Why
There
not?
is, I hate to answer it that quickly,
No,
but I've had that
Answer.
question a time or two, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
There is longstanding authority in the state of Kentucky that if somebody has run afoul in bucket B,
Yes.
we can't turn bucket A off. So if it's directly related, to what they've done here in this situation, we can't, but we can't cut utilities off. But what we can do is we can revoke their business license, we can assess fines, we have all the civil remedies available to us. Because, again, going back to it, a business license, anytime a business license is issued, yes, it's a general revenue tax. But a business license, and the case law dating back to the 1920s on this, is that this is a license for you to have the privilege of conducting business within the city.
Right.
So if a actor has proven themselves 2 or 3 times, we give them a lot of runway, but eventually that runway runs out. That's where we are.
Is there any, seriously, is there any court down the road then? I mean, will they ever have to make an appearance?
It would be any other civil enforcement we would have under the ordinance so that we would be able to assess fines or anything else. So, yes, sir.
Because I'm sure there'll be those who will take us to the limit.
And before we leave that topic, I do want to talk about parking. I actually called the city manager today just because I was so concerned about some of the wording in here that parking got opened back up again. Parking's one of those things, when everything's great and you can get into your house, you don't worry about parking, but when you can't get home or you can't even park in your own driveway, it does become an issue. And so, I live in a neighborhood where we face that all the time. So I just want to make sure on F, on this ordinance, that, because it's kind of weird, we've got some yellow changes and we have red changes. And the red change was kind of scary, but I guess that's not really a change, right?
My
Yeah,
understanding is, go ahead.
Yeah, those are historical, Commissioner. So the only thing currently before the floor, and that gets back to me saying there needs to be a larger format aspect to this, because we have the developmental ordinance and then the other ordinance, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around as far as, which is which sometimes. So this will be a larger cleanup that I've already had conversation with Kevin Causey about. We're working on that. So the language in the existing ordinance, with the strike through, and again, this predates me, but it would be the required parking for a short-term rental shall be enough on-site parking spaces to accommodate one vehicle per bedroom.
And
No
that's
vehicle
basic.
may be parked on any unimproved surface.
Yeah.
So that is the existing language. Nothing about what is before the floor
Because
today addresses that.
Yeah, that's super important, that there's a correlation between the size of the house
Yes, ma'am.
and how many cars it can
Absolutely.
accommodate.
Yes.
I may be the only one that lives in a neighborhood with a lot of short-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
We face this every day. You can tell when they come in, you can tell when they go out.
Yep.
Some of them, you just hope they leave quickly so you can park again. But this is going to require a lot of enforcement while we still can, until we're preempted. I'm talking, and I understand that can happen. But as long as the city does have authority.
Absolutely.
And we have not been preempted, this parking issue is going to take up a lot of time.
Sure. I mean, and it should have been taking up time dating back to last year. 'cause that's-
Okay, look,
that
is
look.
there
needs to be the law.
a number to the people that stay in the short-term rentals?
It's one vehicle per bedroom.
Yeah, that's a vehicle. I'm referring to the number of people. If it was, a car drives up and has 5 people in it.
Seems like there was something in the ordinance about capacity. I can't remember what
I,
it
I,
was.
I tell you what,
I didn't-
I don't, Commissioner, I don't have that number off the top of my head.
There
I
is
will,
something in there, but I can't.
I will pull the language and we'll share that with you
Yeah.
all by
Because
tomorrow.
I think that makes a difference too,
Yeah.
in what you, like, I've got
Yeah.
one in my cul-de-sac when I live, and there's 7 cars that park there every day, so, and I don't know how many people coming in and out, but they park there.
There is a capacity.
Okay,
I
okay,
just can't
folks,
think what it
this is a
Commissioner
second,
Newby?
this is a second reading. I'm okay with it, but if the majority of the consensus of the commission thinks we need more time to talk about it, let's table it.
I don't have a
And
problem.
when are you okay? Are you all okay?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Previous question is called for?
What?
Previous question is called for?
I'm okay with it.
Ready to vote? All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
No.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. for that discussion.
You'll hear more about this.
And
It'll
I
come back,
shouldn't-
I promise.
And I shouldn't, Mr. Attorney, I shouldn't ask now, but I've been sitting here mulling over this. There's a term here from the center under allowed zones and location. I can't picture center of an existing structure, what this means here. How's that determined? Because if you've got one that's 500 feet wide, that means from the center of it to the center of the other, which
Yeah.
means they may be on top of each other conceivably.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm not
You say,
comfortable with the way that's.
Now's a
written, to
good
be honest
time for me
with
to
you.
ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
Again, as I
get it cleaned
mentioned, there's some housekeeping to be done on
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I always love it when somebody says to an attorney, I know I shouldn't be asking this. That's generally a sign that nothing good is about to happen. But in this situation, would it make more sense to measure it from the end of the, property line?
Probably.
Possibly,
Yeah.
probably. I know this was included at some point for some reason, predates me, but I will ask who I can to get that answer
But
for you
we
as well.
can conceivably come back to this also, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
We will.
Ordinance 26-11, ordinance of the City of Richmond relating to the fiscal year 2025, 2026 annual budget and amendment thereof regarding the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, for Liberty Place. This is a second reading also. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has received unanticipated revenues from the Kentucky Department for Local Government for the CDBG program, now therefore be it ordered by the City Commission that the annual budget for the fiscal year 25 through 26 is amended to increase receipts of the CDBG fund by $200,000 to include the unanticipated revenues from the Kentucky Department for Local Government Office of Federal Grants to increase budget expenditures, public services, $190,000, administration, $10,000. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's ordinance 26-11. This is also a second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, is there any discussion? Any discussion? I think those are usually pretty straightforward. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 26-48, an order of the City of Richmond adopting a job description for the Administration Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has adopted job descriptions for employees, and where after review, it has been determined that this position needs to be amended to provide more professional growth within the department. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following job description and pay grade for the City of Richmond is hereby adopted. Administration, Payroll Specialist 2, pay grade 4. This is an edit. The attached job description shall be made a part of the city's job descriptions and also incorporated into their departmental structure. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 26-48. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Any discussion?
Mayor, I would just say this is a request from our HR Director, Janet Townsend. We will have an individual in our HR department retiring in September, and this is just cleaning up this job description. We may not need to fill that position depending on how we get along with a new third-party payroll system. So Janet's done a very good job of moving us forward to be very efficient in that department. But in case we do need to add the position, this job description is cleaned up.
All righty. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Is this, the green, is it omitted?
Yes, we just need to remove that
Yeah,
item from,
okay.
yeah,
Order
they're not ready for that. It'll probably be
26-49.
presented, I'm assuming, at the next meeting.
It will be at the next meeting.
All
For the
righty.
payroll,
No
yeah.
objection to removing? All righty. Order 26-50, order of the City of Richmond promoting an employee in the fire department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas it is the intention of the Board of Commissioners to have highly qualified personnel within the city departments, and whereas the firefighters 1, 2, and 3 classifications provide firefighter personnel with an opportunity for personal growth and education while improving the workforce itself, and whereas a notice and opportunity were given to all eligible and interested personnel within the fire department to test and qualify for firefighter 3. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following promotion is effective April 3rd, 2026 payroll as a part of the approved firefighter pay scale 25 through 26 budget. Firefighter 3, pay grade 4, Tyler Sandlin. He was originally hired as a firefighter 1 in 2020 and then promoted to firefighter 2 in 2021. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 26-50. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble
Second.
and Commissioner Cole. Is there any discussion? Should I say it? His daddy was my 9th grade student. Whew. And fine young man. No discussion. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 26-51, an order of the City of Richmond awarding a bid for HVAC preventative maintenance. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the city wishes to contract services for preventive maintenance at various locations, and whereas the bid specs were advertised on February 28th, which we received 4 bids by the deadline of March 13th, and whereas the bids have been reviewed and a recommendation has been made to accept a bid. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the bid for the preventative maintenance contract is awarded to Affordable Heating and Air Conditioning Service Solutions of Richmond, Kentucky. The contract is effective for 2 years from this date. City Hall will be $4,000. Madison Hall of Justice, $11,000. Richmond Active Living Center, $2,000. Paradise Cove, $1,300, and then the Golf Pro Shop, also $1,500. The bid is attached to the order. The mayor is hereby authorized to sign the said contract. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's order 26-51. May we have a motion, please, bring the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer
Second.
and Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I would just say the preventive maintenance on these units makes their life a lot longer. When we
Yes.
got here 7 years ago, we replaced, I don't know how many units that weren't getting any preventive maintenance, filters weren't getting changed, coils weren't getting cleaned, it was one thing after another, but we since have implemented a preventive maintenance program. Tim Gross has been the lead in this, and goes a long way with taking care of this equipment that's very expensive.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 26-52, an order of the City of Richmond awarding bid for fleet fuel services. Mr. City Manager, please.
Yes, sir. Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised a request for proposals and accepted bids for the fleet services to include vehicle fleet card program, access locations, bulk delivery, tracking and reporting, and whereas bid announcement was published and advertised on February 28th, 2026, with one bid submitted by the deadline on March 13th, 2026, this company is determined to be the best proposal for the city. Now therefore be ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners, the Fleet Fuel Services bid is awarded to Valor LLC of Owensboro, Kentucky. The scope of the services includes vehicle fleet, card program, access locations, bulk delivery, tracking, and reporting. The submitted bid and one-year contract with optional one-year renewal is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 26-52. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion? I was fascinated to see, I didn't realize what the disposition, I'll say it like that, of the station that we use here. And the company had been sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was confused at first as to why we were going with an Owensboro company, but then when I went in the history of it, I
They bought
understand.
Riley Oil, yeah, that's correct.
Yes, indeed. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 26-53, an order of the City of Richmond declaring property surplus and providing for its disposition. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas pursuant to ordinance chapter 34.02, disposition of surplus city personal property, declares a list of property which shall be submitted monthly to the city manager and then submitted to the city commission for classification as to the surplus property. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the March 2026 property described by the list as submitted by the Police Department, which is attached hereto, is declared surplus and no longer needed by the city and is not suitable for purpose for which it was intended. The attached items list per KRS 82.083 contains a description of the property, its intended use at the time of acquisition, and the reasons why it is in public interest to dispose of it, and it will be sold by electronic auction on the website govdeals.com following legal publication as required per KRS 424.1301B. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 26-53. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Any discussion?
Mayor, there seems to be a purple Schwinn Sunnyside bicycle
Oh, wow.
that'll be on Gov Deals coming to you soon, if anybody's interested.
CD burner.
Pokemon
Chief, I
cards.
usually touch base with these folks at the KLC annual conference.
Yeah.
Always go by their table and say, hi, thanks for helping us get some of our money back. Yeah. Further discussion? Any that makes sense? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 26-54, an order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky relating to Kentucky Recovery Community Development Block Grant Program with regard to Liberty Place. Mr. Attorney, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the City Commission of Richmond, Kentucky has been awarded a Small Cities Community Development Block Grant from the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department for Local Government for the purpose of providing public services for the Liberty Place Recovery Center for Women, and whereas it is necessary under the regulations of the Governor's Office of Local Development that the City Commission approve activities related to the implementation of the project, therefore be it ordered by the Richmond City Commission that, Section 1, the mayor and city attorney are authorized to provide signatures for any additional data or information necessary to assure funding for the city, and hereby authorize the mayor the authority to execute any and all items necessary to implement the project as required by the Governor's Office for Local Development in the amount of $200,000. Section 2, the City of Richmond accepts the responsibility of working with Kentucky River Foothills Development Council to fund or seek funding from available sources should there be cost overruns incurred on the Public Services Program. Section 3, the City of Richmond will enter into a sub-recipient agreement with Kentucky River Foothills Development Council to assure operation of the project and Liberty Place Recovery Center for Women where feasible. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. That's Order 26-54. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby
Second.
and Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 26-55, an order of the City of Richmond hiring an employee in the Public Works Department. Madam Clerk,
Whereas
please.
the Public Works Department is in need of an additional full-time equipment operator one, and whereas the position was advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas the interview committee has recommended a hire for this position, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individuals hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements as equipment operator one for the Public Works Department effective March 24th, pay grade 2, Michael Kearns. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 26-55. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
Josh, does that get you fully staffed? Okay, that's what I thought.
That's good.
And then,
Everybody survived all of that ice and snow and
and Josh told me today he has 2 individuals in a CDL class right now, so that's promising to get those folks certified with their CDL driving license. Is it 3?
3.
Awesome. That's great. Be a big help.
any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 26-56, order of the City of Richmond appointing a new board member on the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the term of 10 of the 11 board members were recently reappointed to the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation, which left one vacancy, and whereas there is a citizen that is interested in serving and has made a commitment to attend all meetings. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following citizen is newly appointed to the Richmond Industrial Development Corporation for a full term of 3 years expiring in February 12, 2029. Brad Thomas. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 26-56. May we have a motion, please, bring the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion?
No, he's a good one, though. I'm excited. He comes and speaks to Leadership Madison County every year and
Good show.
during our economic development session.
East Kentucky Power.
I think,
East Kentucky Power.
I forgot to add the attachment on there, but yeah, I think,
A good assortment of backgrounds on that Industrial Development Corporation. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. This is our public comments period. Is there anyone in the audience this evening who wishes to come for public comment? Anyone? All right. Seeing none, Mr. City Manager, please.
Just two items tonight. We're getting ramped up in the park system across the city, so a lot of mowing starting, picking up tree limbs. Adventure Falls will be opening up soon, and Memorial Day is not that far away, so we'll be opening the pool as well. Second thing is Sharon Kane is starting to send out budget packets to all department heads. I'm starting to schedule meetings. Those meetings will start in the next 2 weeks, and we'll be about 30 days straight through meetings, and then we'll do a second round, as we say, and then you guys should have something in May to review. That's all I have.
All righty, thank you, sir. Commissioner Cole?
I'm good, thank you.
All righty. Commissioner Goble?
I'm good as well.
Commissioner Brewer?
I'm good.
Commissioner Newby?
I feel like I need to have something,
Yeah.
No,
but I
you don't.
don't.
Oh, I got stuff, but I thought we were waiting too long, so.
Just two quick items. One, and I think others were there, but a few days ago, EKU and Humana announced a scholarship for students in the nursing program and awarded the very first one, which was a wonderful partnership. But the nursing student who received this first scholarship had just an awesome story about her own illnesses through her childhood and how a nurse encouraged her because she was quite ill, and that she was honored therefore to be the recipient. I believe it was a nurse with Humana who actually did that, but just wonderful. I think the first awarding of funds, not all in one scholarship, was $75,000, and Humana says there'll be more to come. So, what an honor. The other thing, I had an opportunity to mention a young fellow by the name of Sid Rollins and Carrie, at Longhorn Steakhouse. There was no cutting of a ribbon. There was a cutting of a steak. Exactly. Wow. I remember when Menards came, they did not cut a ribbon, they cut a board with a little saw. I couldn't get the saw to work, and they said, take the safety off.
We all backed up on that one, Mayor.
But that's a wonderful sign of what's happened. I just wanted to mention that at that steak cutting, one of the first folks there was our own Sid Rollins, who was our director, Public Works and Street Department for many years. And I told the folks there, because if you know where the location of that restaurant is, I said, Sid Rollins was the kind, and he had this reputation, right, Josh, that Sid could come here, do that,
Yeah.
and lay out a street more perfect than any instruments could. So I said to those folks at Longhorn, I said, this street over here on this side of your restaurant was laid out. You may recall that when Boggs Lane was that wide, and Sid's department made it to, and with all that we're seeing out there now, we can see how that was really, really necessary and visionary for the future. That road is just beyond what I, as a kid, would walk down, and when it was just that wide, seriously, and go across the tracks, and my brother and I would go out there and pick blackberries. That was last year.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
You do, don't you? Yes, indeed. But just signs of wonderful things that are happening here in this community, growing like mad. For those who are concerned about such things as the traffic, yes, it's one of the things that comes along with the additional growth in our community. There was a time, I think we said before, Tammy, that you'd want to avoid the Robert, the EKU portion of the bypass on Friday afternoon, right?
Oh, yes.
Friday afternoon. Now it's what? Every
Yes.
day. And,
It's busy.
it's quite busy. So, but that's wonderful signs, and appreciate the city manager and all he does to keep our Team Richmond, exactly. Oh, now you just remind me, this is the last thing. Thank you all, and I mean that very sincerely, each of you four, and then everyone else who was such a tremendous part of preparing us to deliver the State of the City address. It took, just as I said, it took a whole lot of people to make that thing possible. Sharon, thank you. But, I think people like to hear your part more than anybody else's part when we talk about the dollars. But yes, indeed, thank you so much for all that you, thanks to all of you who are part of Team Richmond. And thank you, Mr. Team Leader. And yay. Kelly, yay and wow. RPD?
Yeah, it was an awesome event.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Well, the annual police awards dinner, which was held last week, and it's always it's a time for a roller coaster of emotions. Right, Chief? I mean, just great things that we hear that our department has done, but some of those great things that they've done were done in the setting of someone's life who was just gone awry. And so thank you for I can't imagine what the officers, and grateful that there is a program assisting them along the way in dealing with some of the things they have to deal with. All right, if all hearts,
And mine.
the hearts are clear, the minds, I don't know.
What's that supposed to be?
I know.
We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Cole and Goble. Madam Clerk, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thanks, Pat.